This week's panel is how to choose a real estate agent. With me today is Robert Larocca from the REIV, Nigel O'Neil from Hocking Stuart, and Tim Fletcher from Fletchers. Tim, what is the most important thing about choosing a real estate agent?
Well, I think it's fair to say that when people go to sell their home, it's one of the most important decisions they make financially. So they've got to get it right. And selecting the agent, the correct agent, is absolutely paramount. And I think there are two elements here in broad terms. One is selecting the individual that you like and trust and feel will get the best result for you. And that's really what it comes down to, getting the most dollars for your property. So select the person, but also select the organisation that this person works with, because you rightly expect that the whole organisation will work for you, not just the individual you've employed. So I think, you know, it's a big ask. It's not an easy solution, but that's it in a nutshell.
A few years back, the REIV did some research, asked a couple of hundred consumers, how did you choose your agent? And the number one reason was one of trust. It was that person was recommended to them or they'd used them before. So it was all about third-party referral and trust. And the second reason why people chose a particular agent was they were obviously skilled in that local area, so they had a strong local profile. The third reason was they went through a methodical process of choosing between them. And interestingly, only 3% of all the respondents said they chose the agent on the basis of them having the lowest commission rate. So it was not about money.
Choosing an agent's probably the biggest asset you're selling, so choosing an agent's so important. I think a lot of people would probably take the decision lightly versus going through a proper analysis of what's happening in that area, who has been successful in selling properties in the area, what are the factors I'm looking for personally in an agent in making my choice, rather than just going along and making a choice based only on gut feel, because you should be analysing it to a degree to make sure that you're going to get the best price you possibly can get, or the highest and most constant rent you possibly can get.
You know, there are a couple of issues here too in terms of people making a selection based on fees, and you touched on it earlier, Robert. There are a very small percentage of the people out there who sell their properties or lease who select it just on fees. Nothing else matters much to them. And in a way I feel sorry for those people, because I think they missed the point. That's not to underestimate the importance of fees. No one wants to pay too much, but if you pay too little, you know what you get. And the other very important issue here is price. Some people will select the agent that says they'll get the best price. Sure, you want the best price.
Doesn't it?
Well, it does, but it's really getting the agent to demonstrate why they think they can get a certain price for your property, justify it, and sure, you'll give it to someone who's bullish and who's optimistic and very positive about it, but you don't want to be misled about what you're likely to get.
You can put them through their paces in that interview process. I mean, I was saying before, only 1 in 5 respondents were actually going through that process, but you can. How did you arrive at that price for my property? Not only that, but how do you propose marketing it? Who do you think is going to buy it? Because the marketing expenses that go with selling a home are considerable as well, and you want to understand the person who you're hiring is going to make good judgments for you.
And I think making a decision based on the commission charge, say 2% versus 2.5% on a $500,000 home, we're talking it's a minuscule amount of money versus the potential loss if you don't get the value or the maximum value for the sale of the home. So, and say that's 10% on a $500,000 home, that means you're risking $50,000 for the sake of $1,000 or $2,000.
And Nigel, you're saying that you need an experienced agent. I mean, what experience do you need?
Well, a combination of factors, but established tools first, established marketing tools. You want to make sure...
What does that mean?
It means online database to make sure they can attract the right buyers that come along. Obviously, local area advertising to maximise the sale price. Presentation of the home for sale. I mean, that's where a lot of sellers come undone, actually presenting the home properly.
Yeah. Actually, just on that issue of database, I agree entirely with everything you've just said. But I think that's becoming very much more important than it used to be. In the old days, going back a while, you'd run ads in papers and you'd do all sorts of things and you rely upon buyers coming to you, but that's not the way it's done these days. An agent has to develop a good database, and in fact, if they haven't got a good database, I would find another one. I think that's how important it is.
Which is why a local area agent is so important. And
well, I was going to ask you about that.
I think the choice of an out-of-area agent has risks attached to it. The primary risk is they're unlikely to have established database of buyers that have come to previous houses they've had for sale in that area. So therefore they're starting from scratch. So it's a very high risk strategy to select someone you like, but is actually from outside the territory you're looking at.
Using that local person has the added benefit that they meet all the other buyers and sellers in the area if they're doing their job properly,
yes.
and they can help connect people and places you would never have thought of, and they can help you with that next purchase. So, and we've seen in this show when we do the local suburb profiles, the agents that they're being spoken to, they are experts in their local area. They know the people, they know the place, and they can bring together connections that you wouldn't have thought about.
You know, one of the things that I think is underestimated, and there are so many issues that people have to take aboard, as you can see, but that is the skill of the person you've employed in negotiating. It's so critical because a good negotiator can save you tens of thousands of dollars, like a very good auctioneer. Knowing when to give the advice to a seller, I think you should take that particular proposition because you've actually got every cent out of their pocket. And that's the job of an agent. We don't apologise for that. We're acting for the seller, not the buyer.
And that brings us to another point. Can you actually sell a property without using an agent? I mean, legally, yes, but...
You can if you want to be benevolent.
Well, you look through, listen to the discussion we've had. I mean, why do you want to use an agent? Because they will bring you a better outcome because they're skilled and knowledgeable. But there's also the basic thing of time. I mean, most people are busy in their day-to-day lives and they don't have the time to go out and find the buyers, present the property and do that hard work that's involved in selling a home. So, you can, but most people don't because they know they get a better outcome from using a real estate agent.
I mean, why would you take the risk? My view would be, why would you take the risk of trying to spend the time, learn all you need to learn, find out all the different aspects of how to sell a home for your largest ever probably sale? Why would you take the risk of not getting or saving yourself, say, $10,000? Why would you not engage the experts? It's just like having a heart operation without having a proper qualified surgeon. You just wouldn't do it.
Some of the websites that purport to help you sell your own home, when you go through the steps, they don't save you that much money in the end anyway, because they're in some respects upfront and they connect you to other service providers who you probably would have used if you were working with a local agent. So they try to connect you with all these external services, and in the end they're just trying to cut the agent out of it, and the ultimate outcome there is a lower sale price, really.
I think the bottom line here is that it is very, very hard to be impartial when you're trying to sell something yourself. And I've done it selling various things, and I think I'm not a bad salesperson, but I'm not very good when I'm selling my own. It might be a car or something like that. It just doesn't work. I don't think the same way I do when I'm acting for someone else. So I say flippantly it'll cost you money, and it's a free world. People will do it if they wish. But I sincerely believe, with my years of experience, that if you appoint a highly professional agent that do some things we've been talking about here today, you will benefit enormously financially. As Nigel said, it's such an important decision in your life, you can't muck it up. You only get one shot at it.
Thanks very much, everyone. That's all we've got time for today.